Hello everybody and welcome back. This is episode number 21 of the Vanarama YouTube's Football Manager 2018 experiment, Celtic and Rangers in the English League, obviously starting with the Vanarama, and I've made their way to where they are today. 10 seasons on. We're about to start an 11th season, which is quite a rarity for me. Usually 10 seasons is as much as I'll allow for an experiment to unfold, but I don't know, this one is just too catchy at the moment. I think there's definitely more interesting things to see along the way. Although it won't go on for too much longer, I feel. I still feel as though this has got the potential to go into maybe 15 seasons. But they, as you can see, Celtic are back in the Premier League. Hopefully they stay there this time. So let's have a little look, just to start with, what kind of business Celtic have done to prepare for life in the Premier League. So there you go. They've already started. Whoever he is, if you can pronounce his name, from Newcastle, it's a centre back. Looks okay. Him too, from Hamburg, central midfielder. Bulking up in the centre midfield there with what looks like a very good player. 29 years old though, bring a bit of experience, but maybe not a long-term kind of player. Hernan Enriquez, another centre midfielder, on loan, a Chilean, on loan from FC Porto. So the centre of the park, they're bulking up, but like I say, there's a long way to go in this window. How about we go and have a little look at their counterparts, Rangers. Okay, so Rangers still in the Championship, have bobbled between League One as well, but there may be a turn in fortune on them. I think they're going to push towards the top end for this season. So they've already started with Sam McQueen in at left back from Middlesbrough. He's 32. Maybe he'll be utilised to push them up the table this year. So if we have a quick little look at Rangers, and there's the table of their league finishes. So as you can see, their first season in the Championship, they nearly made it to the Premier League at the first attempt, but unfortunately the red dot means relegation, the green dot means promotion. Back now, and as you can see, 14th, 9th and 9th. I got a feeling that's going to go up for this year. Paul Clement, he's been the manager for quite some time now as well. Yes, I see good times on the horizon. Maybe Rangers may join Celtic in the Premier League. So I suppose to gauge an idea of that, I suppose we've got to kick the season off. So why don't we take you to the 2nd of September? We'll look at the conclusion of each team's transfer windows, and we'll see what kind of start after the first sort of 3 to 5 games that they've made. I will see you guys on the 2nd of September. Okay then, here we are, we're on the 2nd of September, and Celtic have had a dismal start. 2 losses and a draw. So they've lost to Chelsea Man United in all fairness, and drawn at Tottenham. So that is a killer 3 games to start with, and a point from them 3 for the newly promoted team isn't really all that bad. And 2 of them were away. So the only thing that's concerning is a 4-0 loss is a bit of a beating there, isn't it? Sorry, bit of a problem with the throat again, guys. Just bear with me on that one. That's a bit of a beating though, 4-0. But a 1-1 draw at Tottenham is a very surprisingly good result. So I'm not feeling too downbeat for Celtic at the moment. Let's have a look at how they concluded their transfer business by the end of the window. Okay, so they end up bringing in quite a few players. So Walter Gonzalez, 32-year-old Paraguayan striker, a decent record for Paraguay. He's looking like he's only going to be a backup, but he's broken his lower leg. That's just luck for you, isn't it? So he hasn't actually got to play for Celtic yet, Walter Gonzalez. Josh Tyman, I think you're going to pronounce that. A left back, decent looking left back. David Bell, a youngster. No, not even a youngster. 25-year-old Scottish goalkeeper, maybe a backup from West Ham. Mamadou Koulibaly from Bordeaux, central midfielder. They've got a couple of central midfielders, haven't they? Something Restos from Leverkusen, centre back. 29, he's a Greek centre-back. And then finally, Sasa Lukic from Torino, another centre midfielder, 31 years old. Strange that they got so many centre mids. So if you look at their tactics, they use 3 centre mids, unless they felt that they needed to improve completely upon it, or if we go back, the players sold. We didn't sell many. Even Ethan Horvath, that's their goalkeeper. What? Oh, he's 32, I suppose. But that might come and bite him in the ass, because I didn't see any sort of high-profile goalkeeper signings there. Robert Fernandez has been sold to, well, that's a centre midfielder again, to Dynamo Kiev. The rest are loans or freebies at the beginning. Tommy Alexander, that'll be a nothing nobody. Well, he went to Stade Smir, but he's been released by them, has he? Weird. Philip Sung. Okay, so that's the conclusion of Celtic's business. They've spent, but it's exactly what they needed to do. Apologies again for the throat. It's hard to get the words out at the moment, but there we go. We'll get through this, guys. We'll get through it. Okay, so on the flip side, for the blue half of Glasgow, Rangers have made a pleasing start to life in the Championship with 8, their arch rivals. 3 wins and 2 draws out of 5 games. That's a great start, in fact, for them. Let's have a look how they concluded their transfer business by the end of the window. So we'd seen Sam McQueen, but now they got Fred Becko on loan from Chelsea, centre-back. Peter Hyde they've purchased from Middlesbrough, right-back. So that's 2 players from Middlesbrough. I'm sure there was a left-back they got, yeah. So a defender left, a defender right, and a centre-back. So strengthening up their defence, another centre-back on loan from West Brom. Jamie Thompson, centre midfielder on loan from Man City. And Gus Smalley's an Irish player playing for Rangers. What? Central midfielder, 18 years old, one for the future possibly. And they've sold some players. They're up on their money and they've started life well. So I suppose you can't really knock that, can you? So Rangers starting well. Celtic starting poor, but if you look at Rangers' 3 wins, they've been against Exeter, Sheffield Wednesday and Derby, but Derby away and Sheffield Wednesday at home, they're decent results. Beating Exeter away, yeah, you can get that. 2 draws, Millwall away and Crystal Palace at home. So, they've played a couple of decent teams there. They've come off with some decent results. So, what we need to see is, I felt Celtic will end up clocking up the points when they play against lesser teams, because they played against 3 of the big 6 already. And I feel Rangers will be tested to their fullest now when the season progresses in. So let's just see how both teams get on by the end of November. I'll see you guys there. Here we are then, 30th of November, Premier League, and there you can see Celtic are doing awfully. They're in real danger of losing Premier League at the first attempt of staying up. Both times were relegation battles when they were in there before. This time is another relegation battle, and they're 4 points away from safety. Let's have a look and see if... Okay, so the current manager, Martin Wolford, is still the manager. But Glenn Johnson left on his own accord. I think we missed that, did we? Must have missed that, unless I spoke about it before and completely forgot. Apologies there, but Glenn Johnson was the man. Glenn Johnson was going to be the man to take them forward. Who was he at now? West Ham. I suppose he used to play for West Ham, didn't he? So I can understand that. So Martin Wolford, who is he? I mean, again, they've gone for a manager that hasn't even got a full circle as a manager on that. Tottenham are under 18s assistant manager and then Celtic manager. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get the appointments on this, because he was Fleetwood under 18s assistant Bournemouth under-18s assistant, Tottenham under-18s assistant, and now he's the Celtic first team manager. I don't know. I don't know what the score is, but I think that's what's going to get them relegated. Well, there you go. Poor show from Celtic, completely poor show. Let's have a little look at what they're doing in the cups. Carabao Cup right to Lincoln. That's a bad. The second round, Lincoln beat them on penalties in the Carabao Cup. That's how bad this has been. Now we've seen some higher hopes because they managed to get an away draw at Tottenham, but then Aston Villa lost at home. Wolves drew, beat Bournemouth and drew with West Brom. Thinking, they're getting a little bit of momentum, and then lost to Stoke. Drew with Watford. Drew at Arsenal though. Lost home to Man City, as you can understand that, yeah. So West Ham, Newcastle. Just noticed something here. There they are. I was going to say, where the bloody hell are Liverpool in this? But there they are. Right. There's a run of games here where they can maybe pick up some points if the manager can put his finger right. Tottenham at home, maybe get a point there. Southampton at home, possibly steal a win. Only problem with the Premier League, you don't get a run of games where you play against weaker teams to pick points up. There's always going to be a big one to come in and try and stop that run. So they need to be picking points up against like Aston Villa at home and West Ham at home. I would have heard as well, because Glenn Johnson would have been the one to put that dent into them. But like I say, there's still a long time left in this season. There's still another window, and that is where we will pick up Celtic season, is at the end of the January transfer window. So let's go and have a little look at Rangers before we call time on this episode. So obviously my prediction on Celtic was wrong. I felt that they would push on and start picking up more points. They didn't. They only picked up another 7 points during that period that we simulated the game. Now Rangers are still in the same place, and they're doing well. They've only lost 2 games. They've drawn 8. They've won 9. Maybe if they can loosen off on the draws and put some of these away and convert them into wins, they may have a shot at top 2. They're still only 6 points away, and there's still another window left for them. So they're scheduled. So they went much further than Celtic. They managed to beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. So Salford are in the Football League then, because they knocked Salford out. Sunderland they beat 2-1. Then they beat Chelsea on penalties at home. That would have been a good night for them and their fans. A packed Ibrox, or near enough, not far off. And then obviously 8 to Liverpool, in front of 49,000 there as well. So what kind of crowds are they getting on their average games? At 39, that was an away game, home game. So by about 39, 40k they're getting every home game in the Championship. So that's where they're getting the money to spend, I'd imagine, through season ticket sales and larger attendances than anybody else. And cup runs help, of course. Obviously a ram-packed run for them too. Will certainly have helped things with their money. But like I say, Rangers are making the most of it at the moment. Paul Clement still going strong. 5 years and a day, so yesterday was his 5-year anniversary at the club. Will he be the one that takes them up? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think if Rangers have a good window, I think they could go for one of them top 2 spots. If Celtic have a good window, I think they'll save themselves. They've got some good players there. I think the manager's the problem. Which, if you remember the Newport County Russian takeover series that I did, the managers were always the problem. They're always recruiting the wrong managers. That was what the issue was. But there you go. Rangers doing well, Celtic doing poor. Let's see how things go in the next episode. Guys, thank you all very much for watching. Like I say, enjoying this series that much that I've gone past my usual 10 season cut-off time. So I think another 5 seasons in this, and then I think everything will settle off, and that'll be it. So again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, cheerio for now.